Hello guys, in today's video we are going to start with a new topic, chemical kinetics. Chemical kinetics is a branch of chemistry which deals with the study of the reaction rates, which means the speed with which a reaction can happen. In Greek, the word kinesis means movement. In fact, in all chemical reactions, the reacting species actually move and collide with one another to form the products. So the speed of a reaction depends upon this movement of the reacting species. So chemical kinetics talks about this reaction rates. Whenever a chemical reaction occurs, a chemist will try to find out three things. One, the feasibility of a reaction, which means whether the reaction will happen or not. Number two, the extent to which the reaction will proceed. And number three, the speed of a reaction. So all these three are dealt in three different branches of chemistry. The first one is thermodynamics. This will tell you the feasibility of different reactions, which means whether a reaction will happen or not. We have studied in grade 11, when del G value is negative, what is del G? Gives free energy change. When this value is negative, then the reaction will be happening. It is spontaneous. And the second thing, the extent to which a chemical reaction will happen. That is studied under chemical equilibrium. That also we studied in grade 12. And the third thing, the speed of a reaction. That means the time taken by a reaction to reach the equilibrium. That is studied under chemical kinetics. Along with feasibility and the extent, it is equally important to know the rate of a chemical reaction and the factors that is controlling the rate of a chemical reaction, so that you can understand the reaction completely. I'll mention some common questions that are asked. What factors will determine how rapidly a food gets spoiled? Or how to design a fast setting material for dental filling? Or what controls the rate at which a fuel burns in an auto engine? All these questions can be answered by this branch of chemistry, chemical kinetics. So remember, thermodynamics tells only about the feasibility of a reaction, whereas chemical kinetics tells you about the rate of a reaction. For example, thermodynamics tells you that diamond can be converted into graphite, which means it is feasible. Conversion of diamond to graphite is feasible, but in reality, the rate of this conversion is very, very slow, that it is meaningless to study it. So it makes us think that diamond is forever. No, it's not like that. Diamond will be changed into graphite, but that reaction rate is very, very slow. So chemical kinetics not only helps you to determine the speed or rate of a chemical reaction, but it also describes the factors by which the rate of the reaction can be altered or changed. Few common factors like temperature, pressure, concentration and catalyst affect the rate of a reaction. So in this unit, we will be focusing our attention on different aspects concerning the rates of chemical reactions and the factors which control and alter their reaction rates. First, let's start with the classification of chemical reactions based on the rate, which means the speed with which the chemical reactions take place. Based on the rate, chemical reactions can be classified into three types: instantaneous reactions, extremely slow reactions, reactions proceeding at a measurable speed. Now let's see one by one. The first reaction is instantaneous reaction. The chemical reactions which are completed the moment the reactants are mixed, they are called as instantaneous reactions. For example, mixing aqueous solutions of silver nitrate and sodium chloride. Actually, these reactants in solutions immediately change into ions. And these ions simply regroup and form products. Now look here, AgNO3 in solution changes into ions, Ag plus and NO3 minus. Same way, NaCl in solution will be in the form of ions, Na plus and Cl minus. So as soon as you mix AgNO3 and NaCl, immediately they regroup, which means Ag plus, which was already with NO3, now it will join with Cl. So AgCl is precipitated immediately as a white precipitate, and this Na plus and Cl minus, sorry, NO3 minus, they will remain as solution. Now see, this AgCl is the product. So this type of reactions, they are happening instantaneously, immediately. So it is not possible to study their reaction rates. The second one is extremely slow reactions. Certain chemical reactions are very slow. For example, when you take rusting of iron, once it starts, it may not be completed even after a year. It goes on. And the same way, fermentation of sugar, it takes more than a month. Same way, formation of coal and petroleum under Earth's crust. These are all examples of extremely slow reactions. Just like instantaneous reaction, it is not possible to study the rates of this extremely slow reactions. And the third type, reactions proceeding at a measurable speed. These reactions proceed at a limited speed and their rates can be measured. For example, decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, 2H2O2 gives you, decomposes to give you water and oxygen, and this reaction takes place at a measurable speed and you can study the rate of such reactions. So we have seen the classification of chemical reactions based on the rate of that reactions. Now let's move on to the rate of a chemical reaction. When we started the chapter, I told you chemical kinetics tells you about the rate of a chemical reaction. So what is that rate of a chemical reaction and how to define that? The rate of a chemical reaction means the speed with which a chemical reaction takes place. When a reaction proceeds, the reactants are consumed, which means they are used up and the products are formed. So the rate of a reaction implies the decrease in concentration of the reactants per unit time or increase in the molar concentration of the products per unit time. So you can say the rate of a chemical reaction is the change in the molar concentration of the species taking part in a reaction per unit time. Why do we say the species? Because it can be either reactants or products. If you are talking in terms of reactants, actually what is happening to the molar concentration of the reactants? It is decreasing as the time goes on. What happens to the products? The concentration increases with time. So you can say reaction rate is equal to change in molar concentration of what? Either reactants or products divided by time taken for the change. Now let's take a general reaction, R giving P, where R is the reactant, P is the product. Now you can write the reaction rate with respect to R and also with respect to P. First, let's write the reaction rate with respect to R. And what is R? The reactant. What happens to the concentration of the reactant? When the reaction proceeds, it decreases. So reaction rate with respect to R is equal to decrease in molar concentration of R divided by time taken for the decrease. And you have to note one thing here. When you write the reaction rate with respect to the reactants, you have to put a negative sign here. I'll tell you why we put this negative sign here. Now what is this del R? This del R means change in the concentration of the reactants. When you put a square bracket like this and put R here, which means molar concentration of R. Del R means change in the concentration of the reactants. What is del T? Change in time. For example, at time T1, the concentration of the reactant is R1, and after some time at time T2, the concentration of the reactant is R2. When the reaction proceeds, what happens to the reactant concentration? It decreases. So R1 is the initial concentration, R2 is the concentration after some time. Which will be greater, R1 or R2? R1 will be greater, because as the reaction proceeds, the concentration of the reactants decreases. Now when you try to calculate del R, how will you calculate del R? R2 minus R1. And you know R1 is greater, so you will get a negative answer. So to cancel that negative, we are representing the reaction rate with respect to reactants with a negative sign. So whenever you represent this expression reaction rate with respect to reactants, you have to put a negative sign. So this shows there is decrease in the concentration of the reactant with time. Now reaction rate with respect to P, which means the products. And you know, as the reaction proceeds, the concentration of the products increase. So reaction rate is equal to increase in the molar concentration of P divided by time taken for the increase. How you can represent that? Del P, concentration of product, divided by del T. Now for this reaction, both are equal. Minus del R by del T is equal to del P by del T. Both represent the reaction rate. So this with respect to the reactants and this with respect to the products. But this is not as simple as it appears to be. I'll take one more example. Consider this reaction, A plus B giving you 2C. Now here the rate of disappearance of A, because A and B are the reactants, they are disappearing as the reaction proceeds, and what is appearing? C is appearing, because C is the product. So when you look at this reaction, the rate of disappearance of A and the rate of disappearance of B is twice the rate of appearance of C. Rate of disappearance of A and the rate of disappearance of B are same, and the appearance of C is twice as compared to A and B. See, 2C. A plus B gives 2C. So the rate of disappearance of A and B are same, but the appearance of C is twice as compared to A and B. So you can represent this in a different way. 2 times rate of disappearance of A is equal to 2 times rate of disappearance of B, that is equal to rate of appearance of C. We are writing it in the other way. Or you can write the rate of reaction as, in terms of A, as minus del A by del T, which is equal to minus del B by del T, which is equal to 1 by 2 del C by del T. What is this? A, this is concentration of A, molar concentration of B, and molar concentration of C, and this is the change in time. Now see, since A and B are the reactants, we are putting a negative sign here. So you can write the rate of the reaction in terms of disappearance of A, B and C. The coefficients that are involved here are called as stoichiometric coefficients. In other words, you can say rate of a reaction is equal to the rate of disappearance of a substance in a chemical reaction divided by the stoichiometric coefficient. So you can represent the rate of reaction in terms of rate of disappearance of the reactants, or the rate of appearance of the products. So remember, this part is rate of disappearance of A, this is rate of disappearance of B, and this is rate of disappearance, appearance of C. This, not this part, only this part. This is rate of appearance of C, rate of disappearance of B, and rate of disappearance of A. So when you write with this coefficient divided by this coefficient, then this represents the rate of the reaction in terms of C. Here we don't have any coefficients, so we are writing it as such. So here rate of disappearance is equal to the rate of the reaction. Here rate of disappearance of B is equal to rate of the reaction. Here rate of appearance of C multiplied by, divided by the stoichiometric coefficient is equal to the rate of reaction. Now let's take an example, N2 plus 3H2 giving you 2NH3. Now what are the reactants here? Nitrogen and hydrogen. And what is the product? Ammonia, NH3. And we have coefficient here before hydrogen and before ammonia also. Now what is the rate of disappearance of nitrogen? How can you write? Del minus del N2 divided by del T. This is rate of disappearance of N2. What is rate of disappearance of H2? Just this one. Minus del H2 by del T. This is the rate of disappearance of H2. What is the rate of appearance of NH3? Del NH3 by del T. So this is rate of disappearance of N2, rate of disappearance of H2 with a negative here, and rate of appearance of NH3. Now how to write the rate of the reaction? I just told you rate of the reaction is equal to the rate of disappearance or formation of a substance in a chemical reaction divided by its stoichiometric coefficient. So rate of reaction in terms of N2, no coefficient here. So minus del N2, concentration of N2 by del T. So this is rate of reaction. That is equal to, you have a coefficient here. So minus 1 by 3 rate of disappearance of H2, which is del concentration of H2 by del T. And you have a coefficient here again for product. So 1 by 2 del NH3 by del T. You should understand this relationship between rate of a reaction and rate of disappearance and appearance of the species involved in the chemical reaction. Now coming to the units of rate of a reaction. Concentration is usually expressed in moles per liter and time is expressed in seconds or minutes. So here we are using concentration, here time. So what will be the unit? Mole liter inverse for concentration, second or minute for time. So when it goes up, you get inverse. So mole liter inverse, second inverse, or mole liter inverse, minute inverse is the unit of rate of a reaction. If the reaction has gaseous reactants and products, then instead of mole liter inverse, we use ATM, atmosphere, ATM second inverse, or ATM minute inverse. So these are the units in which the rate of the reaction is expressed. The rate of the reaction can be expressed in two different ways. One is reaction rate as average rate. The other one, reaction rate as instantaneous rate. So there are two types of rate. One is average rate. The other one is instantaneous rate. First, reaction rate as the average rate. When we defined the rate of the reaction, we said change in molar concentration of the species divided by the time taken for the change. This is in fact the average rate. Let's take an example. If molar concentration of the reactant A taking part in a reaction decreases from 0.055 mole to 0.028 m, which is molarity, in 32 minutes, what is the average rate? So they have given you the concentration of the reactants, actually the change in concentration. So it is changing from 0.055 m to 0.028 m. And the time taken is 32 minutes, or you can convert it into seconds. 32 into 60, that gives you 1920 seconds. Now what is the average rate? How to represent rate of the reaction in terms of reactants? You have to put a negative before. So R2 minus R1, which means what is the final reactant concentration? 0.028. So 0.028 minus 0.055, because this is del R, where you are finding out the change in the concentration of the reactants, divided by the time taken. So 1920. If two different times are given, then you have to subtract T2 minus T1. Here they have given you the change in time directly. So 1920 second. So when you divide this, you are getting an answer of 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 5 mole liter inverse second inverse, because this is the unit of rate of the reaction. Concentration is expressed in mole liter inverse and time in seconds. So this rate of the reaction, which is represented as the change in molar concentration of the species divided by time taken for the change, is called as average rate. And this average rate can also be determined graphically. You are going to draw a graph between the values of the molar concentration of the reactant and the corresponding values of time. You will get a curve. So remember, we are taking a reactant A. Let x1 be the molar concentration of A at time t1 and x2 be the molar concentration of A at time t2. And what is A? The reactant. See, this is the graph. We are plotting a graph between the molar concentration of the reactant and the time taken, corresponding time. As I told you, x1 is the concentration at time t1 and x2 is the concentration at time t2. So you are getting this values from this. What is the change in molar concentration? X2 minus x1. What is the change in time? T2 minus T1. So what will be the reaction rate? Del X by del T. What is del X? X2 minus X1. What is del T? T2 minus T1. Since we are talking in terms of reactants, you have to put a negative sign here. So this rate which we are talking here now is the average rate. And there are certain limitations when you say average rate. The average reaction rate does not give you the true rate of a reaction. Actually, the change in molar concentration of a particular species for two same gaps of time intervals is not same. If you are talking about average speed of an automobile, such as a scooter or car, it is meaningful. In fact, the speed is no way connected with the quantity of fuel present in the tank. And the vehicle runs at a particular speed even if a few milliliters of the fuel is left in the tank. Actually, the speed is linked with the rate at which the fuel comes out of the nozzle and then burns. But in a chemical reaction, the change in molar concentration at a particular time depends upon the actual concentration of the species taking part in the reaction at that time. Since this keeps on changing, so is change in concentration or the reaction rate. So all you have to understand is the speed of the reaction actually depends upon the actual concentration that you are taking, and that actual concentration keeps on changing with time. So this average rate does not give any true picture of the reaction rate. So for this purpose, we have another reaction rate which is called as instantaneous reaction rate. So in order to study or have a true picture of the reaction rate, one should know the rate of a reaction at any particular instant during the course of the reaction. Not the average, but at a particular instant. Such a rate is known as instantaneous rate or instant rate. Or you can define this as the average reaction rate at the smallest interval of time, that is dt. In the case of average rate, we use del t. Now this is smallest interval dt. When we use dt, when del t approaches 0. So you can say instantaneous rate is equal to average rate as del t approaches 0. So for the reaction R giving P, limit del t approaches 0, you can write the reaction rate as negative del concentration of R by del t. So this is nothing but the average rate. Now when del t approaches 0, you can write minus dr, small change in the concentration of the reactant when there is small change in the time. So instead of del R by del t, we are using dr by dt. And the same way in terms of products, dp by dt. So this is instantaneous rate of the reaction in terms of reactants, instantaneous rate of the reaction in terms of products. Why do we say del t approaches 0? Because we are representing a very small time change. So instead of del t, we are taking dt. Just like average rate, instantaneous rate can also be determined graphically. The same way as in average rate, a graph is plotted between the different molar concentrations of the reactant and the corresponding values of time. And in order to know the rate of the reaction at any instant of time, a tangent is drawn to the curve, and then the corresponding time is also taken into consideration while drawing the tangent. And the slope of that tangent gives you the instantaneous rate at that instant of time. Now let's have a look at the graph. See, this graph is drawn between the molar concentration of the reactant and the corresponding time. Now you are getting a curve and the tangent is drawn to that curve. This is the tangent is drawn to that curve. See, this is the tangent drawn to that curve, and here the tangent is drawn to the point y at that time. So at which instant of time you want to know the rate, a tangent is drawn to the curve. And as I told you, the slope of the curve gives you the instant rate. See, instant rate minus dx by dt is equal to, this is OQ by OP. So this gives you the instantaneous rate. If you have any doubts in drawing this tangent to the curve, you can ask your math teacher. So to find out the instant rate, you are drawing a graph between the molar concentration of the reactants and the time, and you're drawing a tangent to the curve at any instant of time, and the slope of that gives you the instantaneous rate. So as I told you, we are talking about small change in time with small change in concentration. Since it is in terms of reactants, you are putting a minus here. So minus dx by dt is equal to OQ by OP. That gives you the instantaneous rate. So both in average rate and instantaneous rate, we have taken the molar concentration of the reactants and you got a curve like this. Now you can calculate the average and instantaneous rate with respect to products also. But you will get a curve in this way. This is the curve you get when you plot a graph between the molar concentration of the products and the time. See here you get the average rate. X2 minus X1 by T2 minus T1. So that gives you the average rate. Here what is X2 and X1? These are the concentration of the products. So del P by del T is equal to X2 minus X1 by T2 minus T1. Here we are not putting a negative because this is in terms of products. Now if you draw a tangent to the curve, from the slope of the tangent you can find out the instantaneous rate of the reaction. Or how can you represent the instantaneous rate? dP by dt. Average rate is del P by del T. So this is dP, this is dt at any instant of time. So this gives you the instantaneous rate of the reaction with respect to products. Whenever you take a chemical reaction, we normally start with the reactants since no products are initially present. Therefore, both average and instantaneous rates are determined with respect to the reactants only. But we can also study the curves in terms of products also. When you look at the nature of the curves plotted with respect to reactants or products, it is quite clear that these are not linear. We are not getting a straight line, but you're getting a curve. What does that mean? This means that the reaction rate is not constant and it changes with time. So remember, when you are representing average rate, we use the symbol del, and in the case of instantaneous rate, we are using the symbol d, small d. Thank you.